and foremost, I want to say this. I want to say this loud and clear. Shout out Ilya Taporia for the year he's had. This is the guy that fought Alexander Volkanovski and Ilya Taporia in 1 year, came out 2-0. It's 16-0 on his career and is having a hell of a year as a champion and as a fighter in MMA, as a combat sport guy, whatever. In any other year, I would be pushing, I'd be pounding this table for him to be fighter of the year. But here's the thing, there is a guy in the UFC right here, right now, that I think people are, that's the obvious pick, in my opinion. He's the obvious pick, he's the obvious choice, and yet I think people are overthinking it. Before we start, right? Let me fuck that. Let's just start it. This man right here, Alex Pereira, is my fighter of the year. And let me explain to you why Alex Pereira is your fighter of the year. First and foremost, here is a guy, and I don't mean to be Chris Collinsworth, but here is a guy who in 2023, right? We got to start there. Had come off of a loss versus Israel Adesanya. Brutal knockout, KO. Brutal. Flatline. Out cold, right? Comes out, beats Jan Blachowicz, beats Yuri Prochazka, who is the lineal champion, right? He's the lineal champion at this point. And Alex Pereira, and I want to make sure that the reason why I'm saying lineal is because a guy like Jamal Hill at the time was saying that he was the real champ. No, in reality, Yuri Prochazka has the lineage. He never lost the belt. He got injured and he blew his shoulder out. He dropped the belt. You won it, but that does not mean you're a lineal champion. You're just a new lineage. So Yuri Prochazka comes in, beats Yuri 2 rounds. Not a lot of guys can come out and say that. They've done that versus Yuri Prochazka. Some of the best fighters in the division cannot say that. Right? They can't say that. Once again, that's just to set the scene. Right? Then we move into Jamal Hill. Right? As we move into the Jamal Hill fight, look at this stat. As we move into that fight, look at this. This is September 30th, right? Alex Pereira is only second to Kevin Holland in terms of most fights, not most title fights, not most apex fights, not whatever. The most fights point blank period. And this isn't a knock on Kevin Holland, but Kevin Holland is not having the year that Alex Pereira is having. Kevin Holland hasn't had the success that Alex Pereira has had in this type of fighting. I don't care if you want to say the opponents were handed to him, whatever you want to say. He has not had this type of success. He hasn't had it. At that time, out of those 10 fights, he had won 9 of them. It's that simple. It's really that simple. You look at a guy who's this elite at the higher echelon, and you see this type of activity, you're already saying, this guy might be fighter of the year. But what if I told you that this guy, Alex Pereira, is also champion? You're saying fighter of the year. It doesn't even matter who the opponents are. It doesn't even matter. Right? But just to strengthen it, look at his 2024. He goes out there versus Jamal Hill, a guy that during the time, and I was there, everyone was there. I saw the tweets, I saw the YouTube videos, I saw it. I saw the people saying that Jamal Hill would give him problems and that Alex Pereira, his boxing will get put into the test. I remember seeing these people. I remember people saying that Jamal Hill could win this fight, that it was going to be a challenge for Alex Pereira to beat Jamal Hill. And another guy who hadn't lost the belt, by the way, got injured. Once again, he's not fought anyone who has lost the belt, right? He simply is fighting someone who is trying to reclaim their lineage, right? So now Alex is trying to make an undisputed case for it. And Alex straight up knocks him out 3 minutes into the first round. Chins him out cold, brutal ground and pound, knocks him out. First round, finishes him easy. Then we'll take you through it. UFC 303, International Fight Week. Conor McGregor is supposed to be fighting. Breaks a foot, whatever happened to his foot, fucks his foot up, pulls out. That's who they call. Short notice. Alex Pereira, Yuri Prohaska. I'm telling you this right now. There are a lot of champions who are badasses, complete badasses, and would have every right to turn that fight down. Because even though Alex finished Yuri in the second round, it was not easy. He made it look clean, but it was not easy. Yuri had him in trouble. Yuri had him rocked, shucking up a couple times. He landed some big punches. He definitely gave Alex Pereira, outside of this man here, his biggest challenge. Right? You know, I, in the striking department. Jan used wrestling. Let me clarify that. Not a lot of guys are taking this fight on that type of short notice. If I understand it right, I'm not a great mathematician, but this is damn near 5 months, 6 months removed from that fight. And also, you're coming off of a win versus Alexander Rakic, a fight where he looked like a fucking Terminator. There's not a lot of guys that are going to take this fight, but Alex Pereira takes it. Short notice, 3 months short notice. He takes it. He takes the fight, and I was there for the promotion of this fight. I was there for the hype of this fight, and he goes out there and he finishes him. He doesn't knock him out. Yeah, he doesn't just knock him out. He finishes it. He leaves no debate to, oh, maybe it's an early stoppage. He leaves no debate to this one. Straight up dominates this fight. Makes it look easy. Then he goes again, relatively short notice. No champions fights in the past 2 to 3 years. No champions looks like this. No champion has this many defenses in this amount of time. No champion is doing this. He goes out there again, fights short notice, relatively short notice compared to what champions fight. If champions usually need a 6 month fight camp, 8 month fight camp. He's fighting on 5 month fight camps, 5 to 3 month fight camps, man. And he's doing this with Khalil Roundtree, who's a nasty kickboxer. It's not an easy win for him. It's fast, athletic, strong, explosive, dangerous. And he goes out there, he, and to add to all this, before we even get to the fight, to add to all this, he has visa issues in Brazil. He can't get to go over, right? He has visa issues. His feet in these last two fights were broken. He hasn't recovered his broken feet in this fight. Right? He broke his feet. He broke one of his foot on Yuri's head, and then he broke the other one, from my understanding, against Jamal Hill, knocking him out. So he's already injured. Then he acquires a sickness, respiratory, and he's fighting in Salt Lake City, elevation. We saw what happened at Cardio Kane in Salt Lake City. We saw what happened. And he's going out there with respiratory issues, sickness, injuries. He goes out there 4 rounds and beats up Khalil Roundtree, wins again. Evil. We have not seen a fighter like this. We have not seen this. You're seeing something that is ultra rare. We've seen this level of activity. We've seen this level of dominance from a champion before. What we haven't seen, this level of dominance, this level of activity combined. We have not seen that before. And to sit here and to act like Illia, who has had a great year, his year's better than Alex Pereira just isn't true. It just isn't. You know, you look at a guy like Alexander Volkanovski, right? You look at this guy, and while yes, I get it, he's had an amazing career overall. This man had just come off a brutal head kick KO versus Islam Makhachev, right? And was also on a very quick turnaround and got knocked out again. Yeah, and it's not to downplay it. Ilya can only fight who he can fight. That's not in his control, right? The UFC matchmakers, they make these fights. It's up to the fighters to sign, right? He goes out there, takes care of business. He does what he's supposed to do, and he finishes a compromised Volkanovski. Then he goes against Max Holloway. Max Holloway went through plenty of wars. His chin, I don't care who you are. You know, every time you get dropped, rocked, whatever, you suffer a concussion. And every time that happens, it gets easier and easier for that to happen. He went through a bit of a fight with Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje. Oof. You all need to understand that this is a really good year. Beating some of the best guys of the division to ever fight in that division, but it's nothing compared to what Alex has done in the time that he's done it, with the quality of the opponents he's done it with. To add to that, that fight in Salt Lake City history made history. That fight in Salt Lake City made history. Ronda Rousey's title defense, right? You've never seen a guy do this before. It's that simple, man. You've never seen a guy do this before. You've never seen a guy fight this quickly, this fastly dominate at the level that he's doing it. You've never seen it before. And I get it. I get it that this guy right here is having an amazing year. But it is nothing compared to the absolutely historic um cosmetic, whatever you want to call it, cosmic, whatever, interdimensional type of fight gear Alex Pereira is having. And to add on to this, right, if you look in the recent news of this guy, Alex Poatan Pereira, they're trying to get him to fight again. They're trying to get him to fight Ankalaev again. And Alex Pereira pulled out, you know, sent out a thing on Instagram or Twitter and said, yeah, call me. Let's do it. This is a guy who is doing something you have all never seen before. And if he beats Ankalaev, I think it's undisputed at that point. But it shouldn't be a conversation. It shouldn't be a talking point. Ilya Taporia is having a great year, but it should be left just at that. This is your fighter of the year. Point blank, period. Hope you all have a great Halloween. Wish you all well. I'm going to get out of here. Take care.